Can the worst possible Venusaur beat the entire game of Pokemon Yellow on 0 DVs, minimum battles, and with no TMs? On the surface, this might sound like an insane challenge. Why would anybody play the game without TMs? Why would anybody give themselves the worst stats? This is crazy. But we've already completed this challenge with both Bulbasaur and Ivysaur, and they got pretty good positions on our final tier list. So Venusaur should just be a cakewalk, right? Well, not so fast. Ivysaur and Bulbasaur basically relied on sleep powder and growth in order to get through key challenges, but Venusaur doesn't get those moves until insanely high levels. So will it be able to get through Koga? Will it get through Blaine? Is this completely impossible? There's only one way to find out. Let's get into it. Professor Oak needed to breed more Bulbasaurs for Red and Blue solo runners, so we caught a Venusaur and we got our starting Pokemon. The Rival 1 fight is completely trivial with a Venusaur because we have access to Vine Whip and it takes down that Eevee very quickly. So this might be as good a time as any as we take on an easy bug catcher in Viridian Forest to say, if you like these videos, drop a like, maybe even subscribe. There are tons of new videos getting ready to come out as we get to the end of the year. I think you're going to really enjoy them. Anyway, we're just gonna growl and let Leech Seed slowly whittle this Caterpie down. We can throw in a couple tackles, and it's on to Brock.
I've already done the Brock Minimum Battle series, so I happen to know that this Pokemon kind of crushes this section of the game. So here, that's a one-hitter. We get in Bind, that sucks. But without Bind, it's a one-hitter. Easy.
So, unlike Ivysaur and Bulbasaur, Venusaur completely crushes Brock with no troubles whatsoever. It's just a couple one-hitters, and this next section's really not that hard either. This is where we can actually see how much better Venusaur's defense and its special stats are. Its special is high enough that it can basically one-shot the Rattatas, and its defense is high enough that with Growl and Leech Seed, it can basically reduce these Ekans to doing no damage at all. Meaning we can just stall out opponents, we don't even have to tackle them. That means fewer trips back to the Pokemon Center, so we're getting a better game time as we get through this section, and I think we're going to be just fine against the Super Nerd and Jesse and James, and that's saying something. Bulbasaur had quite a few resets here, and so did Ivysaur, but I think Venusaur's not going to have any resets for a while.
So here we're going to take on the Super Nerd. I'm going to lead off with a growl, few growls since he's disabled tackle. And now that we have tackle again, I'll just start spamming it. Man, we are having bad accuracy luck though. Okay, Vine Whip. Here, I'm going Vine Whip on this Voltorb. I just want to knock it out quick. I'm gonna Leech Seed and Growl here on the Coughing. I want to get its attack stat nice and low. And now we can just tackle it down. Cool. So here I'm just going to heal with a potion, and let's get into the Jesse and James fight, where I think we just lead off with a Growl and then we can go for some tackles. Vine Whip here on the Meowth. Now I'm going Growl and Leech Seed on Coughing, because that Smog is doing decent damage to me. Now I'm just going to tackle it down, hoping not to take a critical hit, basically. There we go. First attempt victory there. That fight was so much harder with Bulbasaur and Ivysaur than with Venusaur. Just fairly easy win. Now we are going to take on Misty's gym first, even though we're at a lower level, because Vine Whip should pretty well allow us to wreck. We take down the Goldeen trainer. Now we can take down Misty herself, and I don't expect this to be any sort of challenge whatsoever. So, just get one more Vine Whip, and there we go. So, there we go. We have gotten through that whole section. And now that Misty's down, we can take on Rival 2. So, for Rival 2, my logic is to lead off with Growl a couple times. And I mean, this Spearow is kind of scary, which is why I do want to take it down fairly quickly and then just Vine Whip on all of the rest of these Pokemon. We just want to knock them out ASAP, so Blissey goes down. There we go.
So with 2 gym badges taken down and 2 rivals defeated, we still don't have a single reset in this run. And it's only getting easier from here, because this is the section of the game where any Pokemon on minimum battles will be overleveled compared to the competition. That's because most of the battles that are required in the game actually happen fairly early. We hit the midpoint of a minimum battles run in Rock Tunnel. That means that, yeah, we're gonna get tons of levels here in this Nugget Bridge section, and the section on the way to Bill's house are just an absolute cakewalk. We have the defense to even survive a 4-time super effective Leech Life from that Zubat. We can one-shot an Onix. I mean, what are these Nidorans gonna do? Come on. We 4 times resist their double kicks. And our old friend Ekans goes down, and Oddish Lass? Yeah, she's a joke. In this one, we can just take everything down and get to Bill's house and save him from his weird Pokemon experimentations. And the only trainer that I was actually scared of in this section was actually the innocent bystander. His Machop does have basically a guaranteed critical hit with Karate Chop, and that Drowsy can use Confusion and Hypnosis, but it was no trouble at all. And these Pidgeys are 2-hit KOs, we take down 1 more trainer, and it's on to Rival 3 on the SSN in pretty good time.
So let's take on Rival 3, let's see how he goes. He leads off with Spearow, which is going to only use super effective Peck moves against us, but it's a 2-hitter. Now Vine Whip one-shots there, one-shots there, and this one is probably a 3-hitter with Vine Whip, but we're just going to tackle it down. And there we go. We have gotten through the SSN with literally no troubles. Not a single reset up to this point in the game, which is something that Ivysaur and Bulbasaur cannot say.
Now this is the point where in a lot of runs I would say we should take on Lieutenant Surge and get a badge boost in defense. I mean, Venusaur resists electric types, so that should be pretty easy. But we just don't need it. We can easily take down the Wrapping Lass with Tackle. This Venonat on the required Bug Catchers team isn't too much of a threat even with Confusion. Heck, we have enough special to resist these stab confusions from Slowpokes. So we just wreck everything in this section. Now we just have to take on one last trainer and it's on to the Rock Tunnel Hiker, which is midway through a minimum battles run. Let's see how it goes.
So let's go ahead and take on this Rock Tunnel Hiker where we can just go Vine Whip, and Vine Whip. Just knock all those out. Cool.
So with the Rock Tunnel Hiker down, we can just finish out the last trainer in this section and make our way to Lavender. And now I'm thinking it might just be time to take on Rival 4.
Now I'm going to go ahead and take on Rival 4 right here. Definitely not taking on any Chandlers, but Rival 4, I want to beat him right now, I think. Basically, I'm going to hit him with Leech Seed, and I'm just going to spam the rest of my Leech Seeds since he won't be able to do anything against it, and like I don't really want to Growl because there might be some Pokemon that I don't want to, or that I want to use Tackle on, but let's see. No, actually for this team I think Growl is fine, because we're just going to go Vine Whip on everything after this, I think. Because we're up against the Flareon team. And on the Flareon team, I mean, nothing that he's going to have here is really going to resist our Vine Whip. So, yeah. That's a 2-hitter. That's a 1-hitter. That's a 1-hitter. Now we get over and learn Razor Leaf, which I think we're going to learn over Vine Whip. Okay, and we just knocked that one out. Cool.
So with Rival 4 going down, I'm starting to think that Venusaur is just going to run away with this one. I mean, It's so far ahead of Ivysaur and Bulbasaur at this point, and it's already gotten Razor Leaf. What's gonna stand in its way in this section? After crushing the first rocket in the game corner by just spamming Tackle and Razor Leaf, I decided to go ahead and catch my flying Pokemon because, I mean, what the heck, we're already here. Let's just get a flyer, even though we can't even use Fly yet because we haven't fought Lieutenant Surge. But we can get back to the game corner and just wreck the rest of these rocket grunts, and I'm really thinking that we're just gonna have an easy time against Jesse and James, but let's see how this goes.
So Jesse and James shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. Just gonna Razor Leaf on them. We're at a high enough level to basically outspeed everything. And here I'll just pop some potions. And let's get into the Giovanni fight, because this should just be a bunch of Razor Leafs. Really nothing hard here. Okay, so we take that one down. We've leveled up to level 32. We could actually have a Venusaur at this point.
So with that section down, let's just fight Lieutenant Surge so that we can use Fly.
Here, not so scary. Here we go, Razor Leaf, and Razor Leaf, and he goes down. There we go. Cool. Easy fights. Easy fights.
So with another gym badge down, we still have 0 resets, and you might think that these Ghastlies in the Pokemon Tower would be hard for our Venusaur. I mean, they resist grass-type moves, but really they're 2 or 3 hit KOs with Razor Leaf, barring terrible confusion luck. We get through these every single time. But this might just be the last easy section of the game. Let's get to the top of the tower and see if we can take down Jesse and James.
Now we can get into the Ghost Marowak fight. This should be incredibly easy. This should be a one-hit KO, and it is. And now we have to get up here, where Jesse and James up here on the top floor were terrible for Bulbasaur, but even a little bit trolly for Ivysaur, given that this is the first time they're evolved. Let's see how they go here. Not quite a 2-hitter there. And it's looking like a 3-hit KO here on Weezing, but that is easy. Easy. Like way easier. We're starting to get to the tough part of the run though. I'm going to start off here against Erica's gym, where 2 Razor Leafs takes that one down. But we need to see if it's possible to beat Erica right now. Let's just find out if we can get through her. I'm going to lead off with Growl, and now I'm going to go Razor Leaf on this one over and over again. The problem is that we can't Leech Seed in this fight. If we could Leech Seed, I would feel pretty darn good. Here, I'm growling to lower their attack if I can, because look how little our attacks are doing there against that Weepin' Bell. That is our first reset, and
so Erica gave us our first reset, and it's just because Tackle's not strong enough to get through, and we take too much damage from our neutrally effective moves. But it's not like going to Koga's gym and Fuchsia is any easier. We are getting absolutely destroyed by these jugglers in several runs because we just can't stand up to Psychic type moves. It takes multiple attempts to get through the first juggler, and then we still have a second juggler who also knows Psychic on both his Drowsy and his Hypno, so this is a scary section. We get through on just 3 resets, and now we can go to Silphco, where we're going to take on this required Rocket Grunt. We can pick up the card key, and really, Rival 5 might be the way to go here. Razor Leaf should do good damage to both his Sandslash and his Cloyster, and we resist Magneton's electric type moves, so it's just a matter of getting through Kadabra and Flareon. But can we do it?
So we're at the point now that we often reach in these solo challenges when we're doing minimum battles, which is that we now have to either beat Rival 5 or Koga. They are the only, or we have to beat Rival 5, Koga, or Erica, but Erica is clearly pretty hard. But these are the only fights that are currently available. And our current level is level 35. We get growth at level 43. And we are not going to get enough rare candies. We have 5 rare candies right now. We could get a 6th one if we manage to beat Erica, but that's not going to be enough to get us to level 43 where we could learn growth. So we have to find a way through one of these opponents. I'm going to start off here with rival number 5, because this one, I mean, we can just go Leech Seed and Growl, and technically we can get through this one 100% of the time. Like, we're always going to beat Sandslash. We outspeed there on Cloyster, which is nice. Okay, so this one might be possible. Might is the operative word, though. So here we can just Razor Leaf in one shot. Here, Razor Leaf is a one-shot. Here I'm gonna Growl and Leech Seed. Growl again. Okay, Razor Leaf is looking like it's like a 4-hit KO. And Confusion just wrecks. So here's where I think we have to pop rare candies. Because everything is a wall at this point. Trust me, Koga is a wall too. His team is perfectly made for wrecking us. So we've added 5 levels here. Now Razor Leaf should one-shot there. Razor Leaf should one-shot there. Razor Leaf is 2-hit KO there. Confusion did about half damage to us. Okay, that's a one-hitter. One-hitter. This is a 2-hitter. Psybeam critical hit just absolutely wrecks, though. We're not getting through that fight with anything other than a Gen 1 miss. So here in this one, I think we can lead off by Growling, just to reduce Tangle's damage output, since it's only going to use physical attacks against us. Okay, now I'm going to Growl at Weepinbell as well. We don't really like the defense drops, but at least we're at a high enough level where it looks like Razor Leaf is doing decent damage. It looks like it's kind of 5-hit range. And here we're going to Growl on Gloom as well. Oh man, but the defense drops are kind of what are hurting us. So okay, so we knocked that one out. Now let's just go for broke here. Oh, and she super potions, you jerk. Okay, there we go. We finally get through. Okay. Yep, probably just needed to spend less time growling and more time just attacking. Okay. But we have gotten through Erica, which means we can go to the Safari Zone. We can get one more rare candy.
So now on 19 resets, we did manage to beat Erica, but we're not really doing very well in this section. It's starting to look like we might hit a wall at Koga and Rival 5 on minimum battles with no TMs. In this one, if I can't get through them, I'm going to start adding optional battles in order to see what level we can beat the game with no TMs, and because this one's starting to look impossible on minimum battles, we might just have to take a separate minimum battles run. And this is a shame, because Ivysaur and Bulbasaur completely crushed this section of the game because they get access to growth and sleep powder here. But Venusaur, we're just going to have to try to get through with what we have.
Otherwise, it's Koga time. So here, Razor Leaf one-shots there. It's going to one-shot there. Still should be a 2-hitter here, which is fine. Okay, we do get 2 Flareon here. where we get wrecked. Okay. Yeah, and he has 84 speed, so compared to our 78 speed, we're just not going to get through that. And he just goes Psybeam twice. See, this is just a hard wall. Because even when we do get through the Kadabra, we still have to deal with Flareon. And Flareon's gonna wreck, so. Now to Koga. Where we can go all in on Tackle here. See, that's how much Razor Leaf does. These two moves probably do about the same damage, to be perfectly honest. Now, he can use Toxic, which doesn't affect us, and he can use X-Attack, which obviously doesn't affect us, and he's never going to use a physical move against us. But really, the way to get through this would be to have him go crazy on trying to use Toxic and use all of his X-Attacks, and... Right, there he goes Toxic twice, that's fine, that's exactly what we wanted to see. This one's 2 of 3 to go at us, though, with actual moves. So while that one's technically possible, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So I think this is the spot where we have to break down and we actually have to fight some battles to get more levels.
But which battles do we take? I start off with the Rocket Grunt on the 10th floor of Silphco since he blocks an extra rare candy. And now I go to the Fighting Dojo. I take on the first 3 members here, and by beating them, we actually managed to gain a couple of levels. Now we're all the way up to level 42 after this fight, and that might just give us a chance.
Okay, that is a 4th optional battle, but that got us to level 42, which means we can use this. And now I'm going to learn Growth over Growl, because there aren't really any things that we're too worried about physical attacks from here on out. We're really mostly worried about the special attacks. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up to Rival 5 now, after we've taken those 4 optional battles. And what we're going to do is start off here by setting up Leech Seed and Growth. Growth is going to increase our defense, so we will be taking less and less damage over time, barring critical hits from this one. And of course, Razor Leaf doesn't get any stronger from Growth. That's not the point. The point is that we should take less damage from Kadabra here. Unless it gets a critical hit like that. And here it's a 2-hitter as well. And now against Flareon, Ember's fine. Fire Spin's also basically fine. And now we get through. See, the whole issue is just getting access to Growth. There. Once we have Growth, no problem. In fact, I think I'm just going to take on Jesse and James. I'm not too scared of them. This is a 2-hitter. This also will likely be a 2-hitter. And then Meowth will be a 1-hitter. There we go. But here we are. We're on 27 resets already. We got to Celadon and got through basically everything up to Silph on 0 resets. And we've gotten 27 resets since then because we just don't get our level up moves fast enough. Here we can Razor Leaf and just knock out Persian. Razor Leaf should take out Rhyhorn. Might be a 2-hitter here. Yeah, it's a 2-hitter on the Nidoqueen, but we get through. That's fine. We'll take that. That was a 2-hitter on Abra. Here I'm just going for Growth, but didn't matter. Here, we're gonna get Flash a bunch of times anyway, so... what the heck, may as well use a Leech Seed, set up all our growths. So now we have about a 1 in 4 chance to hit, and when we do, we should do decent damage. And there we go, we take her down. That's kind of the strat against Sabrina when she's tough, is just let her badge boost you and take the low chance to hit her because she's going to be so random. But now here we are. We have to fight Koga. We can fight nothing else. And we have to hope that growth is going to be enough to get through this one, basically. So let's try it. So we're going to start off by leech seeding and setting up all the growths here. And now we're going to tackle this one down. I'm going to leech seed and tackle, just because they could use something like Toxic or X Attack, and at least we can heal some damage. There, we get a Toxic, we get another Toxic, and we're just tackling them down. And here again, we're going to get some mixture of Psychic. I mean, he crits Psychic, but against the Venomoth, we're going to get some combination of Psychic, of Toxic, and of Leech Life. Leech Life is the one we really don't want to see against the Venomoth. Toxic is the one we love to see, and Psychic is just kind of the in-between case. But yeah, I think this is a spot where Leech Seed plus everything else is kind of the play. Okay, and we get through Koga there. Very nice. Okay, so we've added 4 optional battles. We probably could have been a little bit more efficient with them, but regardless, 4 optional battles was enough to get us through this section.
So with only 4 optional battles, we were able to make that whole section manageable, and it all just comes down to getting access to growth. Growth not only boosts our special, which allows us to resist fire and psychic type moves, it also allows us to get badge boosts and other stats, meaning that we can get better speed, defense, and attack off of it. But we're entering what is easily the single hardest gym leader in the entire game for a Venusaur, Blaine. And will growth be enough to let us get through? We're just gonna have to see.
Let's take this guy on though. Let's try. So I'm going to go growth first. And the biggest thing is that we can see, like, tackle's not doing that much. So maybe we need to use Razor Leaf instead?
So Blaine is turning out to be a hard wall, and this fight was actually the reason why I predicted that Bulbasaur and Ivysaur would outperform Venusaur in this section of the game. Because unlike Venusaur, they don't need to take optional battles here. They already have access to Sleep Powder, and with Sleep Powder, they can simply put the Ninetales to sleep, set up badge boosts with growth, and then they'll outspeed, they can just keep the opponents asleep, and they can slowly whittle them down. Venusaur, on the other hand, is not going to get Sleep Powder until level 55. I'm hoping we don't have to grind up that much, but fortunately there are lots of easy swimmers in this section, so I fight a few, and now we're going to go back to Blaine and see if we can beat him at a higher level.
We've gained a few levels, let's just see. We're going to lead off with growth still. And I mean, there, even without a flamethrower, we just get wrecked, so...
So that fight doesn't even look close, which has me thinking that we're probably going to have to level up a bunch more. We might even have to get to level 55 in order to make this one work. How many battles does that take, though? We're fighting a lot of these extra swimmers, and we're even going to go back and take down the fighting dojo.
This is optional battle number 15. We've leveled up to level 50 now. And to humiliate this guy and to prove that I've taken optional battles, I'm going to pick up a Hitmonlee.
With the fighting dojo taken down, we're fast approaching 20 optional battles in this run. And it's worth noting that Ivysaur, even in its optimizing run, only took 3 optional battles to beat the entire game. 1 optional battle to make Brock consistent, and 2 optional battles on the SSN to get Body Slam and an extra rare candy. So 20 optional battles already puts this Venusaur way behind its unevolved forms. And it kind of raises the question of, is Venusaur actually a viable Pokemon? Is it going to actually lose to its unevolved form? Well, we finally managed to reach level 52, which means we can use our remaining rare candies to level up and get Sleep Powder, and now hopefully Blaine is going to be easy.
I think our strategy goes like this. We are going to put the opponent to sleep. We are now going to set up growth with the goal of reaching the point where we outspeed, and we're going to set Leech Seed on them, and now Razor Leaf. You can have Leech Seed on while the opponent is asleep, so I think it's just a good strat. And it can help out a little bit with ranges and still healing up damage on turns where we're doing like this, and oh no. It appears as though I am out of PP, so I clearly didn't replenish my PP before the battle. We're gonna see if it's possible just to get him to go down. And I don't know. I mean, we may just get beaten here. Because, yeah. Oh, rip. But 39 resets already. Okay. So again, we're just using growth. Also for defensive purposes. If they do manage to hit us with any fire moves, we want to be able to survive. And this one's pretty darn close, so there we go. We put this one to sleep, Leech Seed. Razor Leaf is going to take a couple turns at least to knock it out anyway. Okay, but we get through there. It's Leech Seed again. Okay, and there we are. We are able to get through Blaine now. Sleep Powder makes getting through Blaine no problem. Without Sleep Powder, nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. This one should be easy. I'm going to attack with either of his Nidos against grass types because his AI, Gen 1 Smart AI, is so bad that it thinks that a move like Earthquake is resisted by us, even though it isn't. It deprioritizes it. So we just need to knock that one out as quickly as possible. And same for Persian. Just knock it out as quickly as possible. And now I'm gonna put this one to sleep first. Just because I wanna... I mean, what am I doing? I don't even need to do all this. I'm being way too complicated. Just Razor Leaf, because he'll never attack me. And here on the Rhydon, Razor Leaf will be a one-hit KO. There we go. Badge boost just for speed, basically. Oh wait, yeah, we don't need to do anything special on Execute because it's just going to use Poison Powder over and over again. This is a guaranteed victory. Oh my god, we just cannot land a hit. I'm just trying to set up growth for speed here. And now I'm just kind of wasting turns so that I can heal off of Leech Life. Okay, here we should be able to just knock that one out. Here, that's a 2-hitter. Okay. And here, this is like a 4-hit KO, but we take down Flareon. There we go. Easy.
So with 22 optional battles and 39 resets to this point, our Venusaur is struggling to make the S tier, which might not sound too bad. I mean, an A tier finish would be pretty good for this Pokemon, right? Until you consider that Ivysaur was easily an S tier Pokemon in its first attempt without any optimizations, and other comparable grass types like Weepinbell and Victory Bell have also made the S tier. So we're going to need a strong performance in the Elite Four, but can we get it from this Venusaur?
So here, let's just get into the fights. Lorelei. We're going to put Lorelei's Dugong to sleep and just knock it out. We're going to put the Cloyster to sleep and just knock it out. Here I'm going to put Slowbro to sleep, but this is where I'm going to set up a few growths in the hopes of being able to survive and outspeed against the Jinx. Okay, so we get through that. And now Lapras. We outspeed Lapras, but we're just not landing the hits. And it's looking like a 2-hit with Razor Leaf. Okay. Here I'll just pop an Elixir real quick. And into the Bruno fight. Here I think we just go Razor Leaf pretty much the whole way. And we're just hoping for crits on everything, basically. And here's Machamp. Okay, Razor Leaf is like a 2 or 3 hit KO. We get through though. Nice. Now on to Agatha. So the strategy here is much more, I think, about Leech Seed and growth for speed boosts. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so we knock out Gengar. Now we've leveled up, though. And I was kind of afraid we'd level up, which is why I saved a couple of growths. Now we're gonna go Leech Seed. And Razor Leaf. Try to keep this guy asleep, since Golbat is one of the scarier Pokemon on her team. We don't like that we just got hit by glare. Okay. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to knocking out the Arbok. Okay. Okay, so we get through Agatha. That was painful, but Leech Seed plus Razor Leaf was enough. Here, I think we need to PB up here on Sleep Powder, and I'm gonna pop one into Razor Leaf just in case. I'm gonna go with an elixir there. So let's get into this Lance fight now. Where Razor Leaf should do decent-ish. Okay, Dragon Rage doesn't really matter. Here it's looking like a 3-hitter on these Dragonairs as well. Here I think I want a badge boost to try to outspeed the Aerodactyl. Here I'm gonna go Leech Seed too. Okay, we take that one down. Now we put Aerodactyl to sleep, and it has super effective moves, so I really just want to Razor Leaf it down. We put Dragonite to sleep. And I'm using Leech Seed just to try to do a little bit more damage to it. And also create the situation where we can heal off of it. And we can see that Razor Leaf does next to nothing on this one. Okay, we put it to sleep and just stay asleep. There we go. There we go, there we go. So, we are fairly well wrecking here on the Elite Four with this set at this level. So, we're at level 61. I'm gonna pop my last rare candy, get to level 62. That should pretty much do it. Let's get into the champion fight. Here I am going to put Sandslash to sleep and set up Growth to outspeed Alakazam specifically. So their Razor Leaf is fine. You go to sleep. And now Razor Leaf, and Razor Leaf. Okay. Now we really want Exeggutor to go to sleep. We're not going to do much damage with Razor Leaf here. Okay, we're through to Magneton though. I'm going to set up Leech Seed here. I'm gonna finish setting up my growths here. Just gonna try to keep it asleep so that hopefully I can heal up more and more damage off of it. Because we just don't know. If Sleep Powder misses, it's way better to have some of this HP back. Unfortunately, we can just sit here and just use a bunch of growth PP while it slowly goes down. Cool. Cloyster should be a one-hitter. And now Flareon. Let's Leech Seed him too. And now we'll go Razor Leaf while he's asleep. And that should be the win. There we go. Okay, level 63 at the end.
So, with no resets on the Elite Four, our Venusaur just barely takes down an S-tier finish, but it's only sitting one spot ahead of Bulbasaur and several spots behind our first run with Ivysaur. Now we have to see if TMs will make this possible in a minimum battles run. And I have some ideas. We could use Swords Dance and Hyper Beam in order to get through the game. We're going to see if it works. I'm going to pick up right at Silphco, where we get our first move.
Here on this floor, we can use the card key and get Swords Dance. And I'm going to teach Swords Dance right now over Growl. Swords Dance will allow us to use the badge boost glitch, as well as once we get Hyper Beam, it's going to be the move that will allow Hyper Beam to become really, really strong. Okay, there we are. We have enough coins. Time to buy Hyper Beam. And now we are going to teach Hyper Beam. And we are going to teach it over Tackle. That is the game plan. Now I'm going to go to Erica's gym, and I think I'm going to completely destroy her with Hyper Beam. So let's get into the Erica fight, where the game plan is to set up 3 Swords Dance. Obviously the best play. And now we just need to land a Hyper Beam. There we go. Acid did decent damage, but Hyper Beam, and oh, Hyper Beam. There we go. So she goes down with basically no troubles whatsoever. And now I think we can do some other stuff. Because here's the deal. We know that this fight is difficult with Rival 5, but we have Hyper Beam. And we have pretty easy setup on the first Sandslash. So, because the Sandslash is only going to use Poison Sting, because Smart AI tells it that Poison is good against grass. So, I think we can set up pretty easily here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up Leech Seed first. Now I'm going to start setting up my Swords Dances. We're getting badge boosts in defense as well. And here I'm going to use Razor Leaf. Same here, I'm going to use Razor Leaf. But now here I'm going to go Hyper Beam. And here Confusion did decent damage, but Hyper Beam is wrecking. And oh, it wasn't a one-hit on the Flareon. RIP. Okay, let's try this again. That was our first legit reset in battle. Okay, so Leech Seed, Swords Dance, Swords Dance, Swords Dance. Now we can go Razor Leaf, Razor Leaf, Hyper Beam. Oh, a critical hit from Confusion. Oh, but that time we get the range on Hyper Beam and we wreck the Flareon. Here, we have leveled up enough to be able to get access to Growth, which means I think we're going to be able to take down Koga with this set. Let's just see, though. So here's the deal. He's going to sometimes use moves like Psychic, and sometimes he's going to use Toxic. So I'm going to set up the Growths first, and then go into the Swords Dances. The Growths are for survivability against his Psychic moves. The Swords Dances are to make it so that Hyper Beam basically one-shots everything. And there we go, we get through that fight incredibly easily. And we're still sticking on just 2 TMs at this point. Let's see, are we going to level up in this? Yes, we are. So I'm going to use a rare candy right here to avoid that level up in the middle of the fight, because we want the badge boosts. So first things first, I'm going to start setting up... Oops, sorry, Growth. Not Swords Dance. He's confusing me, which is okay as long as I'm not doing a ton of damage to myself by hitting myself in confusion. Now we're finishing our Swords Dance. Okay, Hyper Beam takes that one down, but we wrecked ourselves by hitting ourselves in confusion. Okay, one reset there. But this is why we need growth, the flamethrowers. That first run, we were really lucky that he didn't use flamethrower, and this time, that's a couple of resets due to flamethrowers right there. Which, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I would expect this to be the gym where we get a ton of resets. Two, three, 4, 5, 6... 3. We survived the flamethrower. Okay. That's a one-hitter, that's a one-hitter, and that's a one-hitter. There we go. So once we get the setup off, we're able to get through just fine. 9 total resets on this run so far is not too bad. You know, 2 TMs and 9 resets, we will take that pretty much any day. Stores, and it's time to get into this, where I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on Mega Drain here over Razor Leaf so that we can use it with growth. I think this is the play. So, I'm also going to use all but 3 of my rare candies here. Okay. And let's get into this fight. So, first things first, I am going to start setting up growth because I expect them to use moves like Aurora Beam, and we can just heal up with Mega Drain off of them. And now Swords Dance should do pretty well. And Mega Drain is a one-hit KO there, a one-hitter there. It's a one-hitter there. I'm gonna Hyper Beam on Jinx. And for the... just to be safe, I just Hyper Beam there on the Lapras. And we completely destroyed Lorelei. And now I'm gonna drop 1 PP up into Mega Drain. 1 PP up into Hyper Beam. And... just make sure to pop an elixir just in case. And get into this fight with Bruno. Oh, I did not mean to use Hyper Beam. I mean to use Growth. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now Mega Drain should destroy that one. Hyper Beam should destroy that one and that one. Mega Drain should destroy that one. And Hyper Beam. There we go. Now we can learn Sleep Powder. And... we can't forget Mega Drain, because we need that to fight Agatha's ghosts. So... I think the move to get rid of is Swords Dance, since it only gives 3 badge boosts, and we can already badge boost our attack without it. So, yeah. So here I am going to pop an elixir, and I'm pretty close to full health, but I'm going to use a full restore anyway. And now let's save. And get into this fight here. So our goal is to put the Gengar to sleep. The fact that it paralyzed us turn 1 was kind of bad. Okay, Hyper Beam Rex there, though. Okay, we take down Haunter. That was good. Now, it only took 3 of those Mega Drains to take down the Gengar, which was also very good. And now the last Gengar, fortunately Psychic's not going to do that much, and because we're paralyzed... we should do okay, I think. Oh, but we get wrecked, okay. And sorry, it was lowering our special with Psychic. That's why we were doing less damage. Okay, let's just start setting up our growths here. Okay, now Hyper Beam should just destroy that one. Now Sleep Powder into Mega Drain. Sleep Powder, Mega Drain, Mega Drain, Mega Drain. Cool. Mega Drain there. Hyper Beam there. Now Sleep Powder. And we're going to spam some Mega Drains here. She uses a Super Potion, which is fine. As long as we can land the... Oh, the critical hit Psychic. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. So Sleep can hit behind a substitute, fortunately. So... we're just going to try to keep these guys asleep while we set up. Now Hyper Beam will wreck that one. Mega Drain's gonna pretty well wreck this one. Nice. Sleep Powder into Mega Drain. Hyper Beam's a one-shot there. Mega Drain. And we really don't want critical hits, is basically the moral of the story here. Okay. Now I'm going to try to put this Gengar back to sleep. Okay, good. Okay, and we just had enough PP to knock it out. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So here we are going to use at least one rare candy before Lance. We're going to max Elixir, and I'm going to full restore. Let's get into the Lance fight. Where here we're definitely going for Sleep Powder on Gyarados. Now we're trying to set up all of our growths, and we really just want to keep it asleep. 6. And Mega Drain's at least neutrally effective here, and it looks like a 2-hitter. Here we're going Hyper Beam all the way on the Dragonairs. On Aerodactyl, we're going to put it to sleep, and it's a 2-hitter with Mega Drain. And now on Dragonite, put it to sleep. It looks like it's going to be a 2-hit KO with Hyper Beam. There we go. So Lance goes down. We're still on minimum battles. And now it's just time to slam 2 rare candies and a max elixir and a full restore. And let's get into the champion fight. On 16 resets, not too bad for this one. I'm going to set up Sleep Powder first. Now I'm going to go into my growths. We really just kind of want to keep this one asleep so that we can finish all our setup and get through on full health. But I guess it doesn't really matter. We're going to Mega Drain it anyway. Now Hyper Beam there should just destroy that. It looks like it's going to be a 2-hitter with Hyper Beam here against Exeggutor. Okay. Here we'll just Hyper Beam there. Okay. Oh, Hyper Beam missed. Rip. Okay. And here we're going to put Flareon to sleep if we can. just to be safe. And Hyper Beam destroys it. So there we go. That is a full game completed with a Venusaur. 0 DVs, minimum battles.
So just by adding 3 TMs, Mega Drain, Swords Dance, and Hyper Beam, we were able to beat the game and do it on minimum battles. On top of that, we had fewer resets in this one. We only had 16 resets, putting us way up on the tier list and even surpassing Ivysaur. Now let's optimize. Let's see if we can make this run even better with just a couple optional battles.
Good to go. And now we're going to get on here and we are going to get access to Body Slam. You might be saying Hyper Beam, but we would have to wait an awful long time to get it. And I think Body Slam answers solves more problems for us, in the sense that it will enable us to, in theory at least, get through some fights by paralyzing opponents. And we're going to immediately learn Body Slam. We're going to learn it over Tackle. Okay. And now let's take on this gentleman right here, where Body Slam just wrecks both of his Pokemon. We got the Paralysis on Ponyta, and now we grab the rare candy. Okay, 7th floor, but we need to be careful not to run into that guy. And here we can go Swords Dance right away over Growl. And it's time to get into this Elite Four section. And given that I stepped away to deal with my rice, we've got pretty good time right now, I think. So here, I'm going to start by Body Slamming on this one. And I very intentionally hit it there. I want it to use Rest. Okay, we knocked that one out. We knocked that one out. I'm gonna Body Slam here. Okay. This is the spot where I think I'm gonna start slamming rare candies like crazy. Here we can get access to Sleep Powder. And I honestly think Sleep Powder is more important than Swords Dance. So I'm going to forget Swords Dance in exchange for Sleep Powder and get into this fight again. Because here, we can just put Dugong to sleep and now start setting up. And, I mean, we don't actually need to set up here though, do we? Just put these ones to sleep and... kind of similar to last time, we're mostly just worried about Jinx. And here, Razor Leaf should be a 2-hitter. There we go. Haha, we'll use a potion. But I'll full restore and elixir. There we go. So now on to Bruno, where I think we just Razor Leaf, Razor Leaf, Razor Leaf, Razor Leaf, and for good measure, let's go Razor Leaf and Razor Leaf. So we get through that one, no problem whatsoever. Here, I'm just going to use a single rare candy to try to prevent level ups in this fight. For badge boosting purposes, basically. So we're going to use Sleep Powder there. And our goal is just to be able to outspeed, basically. And now we need Razor Leaf to do the job here. Golbat, we can Body Slam. Haunter, we can go Razor Leaf. Here, I think we want to finish our growth setup. She's gonna use some super potions, but that's fine. Body Slam is like a 2-hitter there. I just went for the Body Slams on the Arbok because I wanted to save sleep powders for this Gengar. Oh no, I misclicked. Used Body Slam instead. She's gonna Super Potion here, almost certainly, so this way we know that we'll keep it asleep. There we go. Or that we can keep it asleep at least. So now I think we drop another rare candy here, with the goal being to not level up in the middle of this fight. And Razor Leaf is kind of low on PP, so I'm going to throw an Ether into Razor Leaf. Okay, so now, strategy is basically to put this one to sleep. We're going to start setting up our growths right here. Now we have badge boosts in attack. It's just not quite enough to take that one down, okay? Okay, that was a 1-hitter, that was a 1-hitter. Okay, we do outspeed Aerodactyl, but that was a lot of damage. It's a 2-hitter with Razor Leaf. Now against Dragonite, fortunately, we can Body Slam and take it down. There we go. Alright. So, last rare candy. And now we can go Max Elixir. And I think we're good to go, guys. This just comes down to sleep luck, basically, and getting everything set up. So let's put this Sandslash to sleep first and start setting up growth, because we want to guarantee that we will outspeed the Alakazam, but also we want Body Slam to do as much damage as possible. That was a 1-hitter. Here, it's not going to be a 1-hitter here because we don't have Swords Dance, but we take that one down in about 3 hits. Oh god. What am I doing? Come on, go to sleep. There we go. And Body Slam, Razor Leaf right here. And now we just need Flareon to go to sleep. And now Body Slam, and we're through. 19 resets in that one. And let's see. Like, we took, 2 optional battles. We didn't take any optional battles before Brock. We took the 2 optional battles on the SSN that we needed for Body Slam and an extra rare candy. Yeah, guys. And I mean, even with me going to get Rice, that was sub 1 hour real time. Are you kidding me? Absolutely crushed it. Now, it's only going to be just a little bit better than Ivysaur here, I think. But let's get into this. Let's check. 19...
So, in the end, we added 2 optional battles in order to get Body Slam and an extra rare candy on the SSN, and we completely bypassed Mega Drain, and we got an incrementally better score. So this whole run was just kind of worthless, right? Well, it shows a couple things. It shows that with TMs and pretty close to minimum battles, Venusaur still completely crushes Ivysaur. This was a consistent result. And it also showed a second thing. The strategy of picking up Body Slam on the SSN is generally going to be much faster than getting Hyper Beam, meaning that we made a massive improvement in the time of the run. In fact, Venusaur is the second fastest run that we've done in this series for those of you who care about speed. And that's pretty impressive. So Venusaur does in the end take down its unevolved forms as long as you allow TMs. Without TMs, it gets completely crushed. But this pretty clearly elaborates on why I made my tier list the way that I did. I wanted to make sure that there's trade-offs between additional battles, adding TMs, and having more resets, and Venusaur takes it down.
We still got one piece of unfinished business. Let's get that tier list down off of there. Let's get to what really matters. Mewtwo time. So, here we go. We're going to get set up with this one. And let's get over here where we can go and try to get ourselves a Mewtwo. Not to catch. We don't care about catching this Mewtwo. We've already done, what, 3 Mewtwo runs on this channel? We've already got Mewtwo's. The best Mewtwo's. No repeat moves Mewtwo, 0 DVs double, or no 0 DVs, minimum battles, no TMs Mewtwo. We've got the Mewtwo that got beaten by Alakazam and Hypno in Pokemon Red and Blue. We got tons of Mewtwo's. So let's get into the fight now against Mewtwo. Let's take him down. So clearly our strategy is to put him to sleep. Growth is mostly for outspeeding him and surviving Psychic if he wakes up. Okay, put him back to sleep. There we go. Now Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf. And guess what? You're just woken up, but Razor Leaf. We beat him on the first attempt. So there we have it. Just a couple TMs. The same ones that we added with Ivysaur that we can suddenly crush the game. Body Slam and Swords Dance. That's coming up next. But until then, see you in the next one. Later.